Welcome dear friends, investors and newcomers. My voice is a bit gone, so I will try to keep the video quick and short. My dear ones, something huge is coming. Most people are a bit nervous right now. Most people are in a bit of a panic and think it's all over. While the biggest movements are still ahead of us, I'll show you what I mean. We have some strong information. There are some hypocritical things that I would like to address. So my dear ones, let's dive right in. But before we do that, like this video, if you already know that you will like what I see here, and if there are still some newcomers among you who want to know where to shop, you can go through our link in the video description to Bitpanda. Operate with EU regulation, licensed to cash fund, with a level of security even trusted by major banks because customer assets are kept separate from operational assets here, so your assets are protected even in the event of insolvency. You have over 6 million users on the platform and you have over 400 of the latest and most modern cryptocurrencies, besides stocks, ETFs, commodities, crypto and precious metals. And if you go to Bitpanda through our link in the video description and buy any cryptocurrency for 25 euros, then you'll also get for a short time 5,000 Shiba Inu gifted. Do you remember Senator Mine here as Mr. I describe mine, the somewhat less honorable, and that's the hypocritical part, you know. Many politicians act as if they had eaten wisdom with a spoon, as if they were the honorable people at all. This Mr. Mine has now received an 11-year prison sentence because he received bribes in gold and cash. This person fought hard against that El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, my dear ones. And that's the hypocrisy in politics, and that's why I just don't love politics. 11 years, my dear ones, 11 years. Because he received bribes in gold and cash, and he was against it. That El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, and look at what is happening to the country. The most criminal country in the world has become one of the safest countries in the world. Yes. Taylor Winkler, he and his brother obviously founded the crypto exchange Gemini, and he has now reacted to a post by Eleanor Tourette, where Gary Gensler is again at MIT, and there he works as a professor, and he said as long as Gary Gensler is at MIT, he will not hire any graduates from MIT, and he will not hire any interns either, or something like that. And that's such a prime example of how to punish people who are not at fault. What can a student at MIT do about Gary Gensler being hired? I think that's not a nice approach. I think he wanted a bit of publicity here. He probably thought the crypto community would celebrate that if I do that, but I think that's completely unfair. What can someone who studies at MIT do about the fact that this university hired Gary Gensler? Why should he have a disadvantage now? About that, he has nothing to do with it. Why do we punish people who have nothing with the situation? I don't think that's right. I think a lot of people are celebrating that right now. Yeah, cool, but you have to be fair about it. We all love crypto like none of us do. Gary Gensler, but what do any innocent students have to do with that? I think that's nice. Jerome Powell spoke about it yesterday, that ultimately nothing stands in the way of banks to offer crypto services. I think it's nice that the Federal Reserve is now also sending out such signals. Yes, and we need to read between the lines. He didn't just say that for no reason. He wants to send a specific signal to the economy. My dear, that there are no more restrictions. The Biden administration is gone. The suppression of crypto is over. He is clearly signaling here that a completely different path will be taken with the Trump administration. And that crypto is the future. And on Fox News, the crypto expert David Stacks was asked whether there will be a Bitcoin reserve in the USA, a state reserve. He said that Donald Trump definitely brought up this topic, and that they should analyze it, and they should take a look whether something like that is feasible and whether they will implement it in the near future. And he answered very politically here. Said, yes, we are currently analyzing that. I don't think so. That it's a question of when, not if. When will you be done? He is also clearly pointing to Senator Cynthia Lummis, indicating that she is already working more intensively on it. And what does she say? We'll take another look at that in a moment. So that one doesn't lose hope. Because some are now thinking maybe it's not going to happen after all. While some are doubting, Trump has now also started with his Trump media. to invest in crypto, or rather they made an announcement that they will make about 250 million in new investments, among other things also in Bitcoin and in crypto. With their World Liberty Finance, they are already investing huge amounts of money in crypto. And the question that arises for me is if you are already privately reinvesting abnormal amounts of money in crypto with your companies. Why shouldn't Trump use his political power to continue heavily investing with the government and for everyone, but also for himself and his companies, to pump his bags with government funds? And now there are currently already 14 states in the USA that have introduced a bill. It looks like that want to hold Bitcoin reserves. My dear ones, is there really still room for speculation here? That Trump will follow with the government? I don't know why this narrative is being pushed by some. Many like drama, many enjoy this Bollywood-style show. I don't know what's going on there, that some have to keep pushing such a narrative to cause some panic or to make the whole thing a bit more exciting. I don't know why they're doing that. But if 14 states are already acting separately from the US government, have submitted applications or introduced drafts that they want to hold reserves, and the trend is rising, many and more episodes will follow, then I have no doubt that the US government will soon follow suit, and that huge things are coming our way. Cynthia Loomis confirms this here because she would like to see the US gold reserves sold and at least partially used to buy Bitcoin as reserves. Now just imagine if we could have had such discussions a year ago, to even have such discussions, to even have such conversations, that a US politician, or rather senator, talking about selling gold reserves to buy Bitcoin. So I think we would be laughed at so much. A year ago, we would have been laughed at. They would have called us whatever I know. Called complete idiots for people who just have too much imagination. Now, and a year later, look at what's happening. Just take a look at what's happening. How can you not be bullish about that? And Indiana State Representative Jake Teschke is putting out a bill. Here, a housing bill. And this draft is about that one can also invest in Bitcoin with pension funds. ETFs are supposed to diversify to also have exposure to rising Bitcoin prices. My dear ones, I don't know. Do we still need to discuss this? Whether Bitcoin or crypto have a future? This all kind of discussion belongs to the past. But many still don't understand that. Many are still afraid, is the bull run over? Are we going to drop a bit now because we've gone down 10%? It's sad to watch sometimes that some are losing hope and the opportunities that lie ahead of us to ultimately generate a lot of money, to make a lot of money in this space. In the last phase, in the last year of the bull run cycle, or rather the market cycle with Bitcoin, where you can make the most gains, it's just sad to see that most are jumping ship now. In the Bitcoin liquidation areas, we clearly see that the leveraged long traders haven't been doing as well. But there are again neon yellow areas in some highly leveraged short positions. That means yes, some expect that we will see falling prices. We talk about the 106k. These opportunities would also be liquidated. What do you think? Which way it goes? We're just about to hit the weekend. There, as I said, it can become more volatile again and again. Will we see a breakout to the upside, or will we drop down? A sign that a massive movement upwards is ahead of us. Let's look now. And now take a look at this chart. As Bitcoin approaches the 105,000 mark, the mark is going, Bitcoin is starting to rise slightly again. And I read comments like, oh, Caro, yes, we are indeed in a bull run, but many coins have fallen again and are close to the bear market low areas. We must not forget that compared to the last bull run, indeed, like as I explained in the last or the one before last video, over 36 million tokens have indeed, my dear. The market is somewhat diluted. There's a lot of capital in the market. There's a lot of liquidity in it, but significantly more diluted. Divided into very, very many projects rather than concentrated in a few legitimate projects. Let's just wait and see how this develops. In terms of altcoin market capitalization, as you can see, we are at relatively high levels, Take a look at this. Yes, we have broken an all-time high in the outcome market capitalization, and we are here in the areas of the last bull run peak. Yes, it's not bad. So there's really nothing bad that I see here. On the contrary, it looks very much like we're seeing a breakout from this falling wedge. My dear, take a look at this. We have escaped and have been staying here for over 2 weeks now. Above this triangle, my dear. So now, or an extremely strong movement has to follow. That actually suggests that a strong parabolic move upwards should follow. If it's a fake out and fails where the probability is lower, we will soon be able to experience a stronger correction here as well. That means we won't have to wait much longer. That in some direction, the chart will reveal itself to us. The probability that it will explode upwards is significantly higher than downwards, according to this chart pattern. I also tend to think so. We're seeing the first signs that we've bounced back here again. At the trend line, see it, we've bounced nicely. We've tested the trend line multiple times, bounced back up again, down and bounced back up again. It looks very much like an explosive movement is ahead of us. Let's just wait and see. February is usually a strong month according to history. And I told you I expect that we can experience a somewhat stronger move upwards in February and March. Until we can experience a relatively strong correction. In that sense, I wish you all a pleasant day, my dear ones, and crypto heroes out.